Once again, Islamic terrorists are threatening to behead an American hostage. The radical group called Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula says they will kill Luke Summers in a few days. Recently, our military tried to rescue him, but failed.
ISIS is expanding as well. Now it's setting up training camps in Africa in the nation of Libya. Gary Lane brings us the story.
It's a scene that has become all too familiar. Another American hostage threatened with death, this time by operatives affiliated with Al-Qaeda in Yemen, not Islamic State fighters in Iraq or Syria. The hostage is 33-year-old Luke Summers, a freelance photojournalist kidnapped 14 months ago in the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a. The terrorists say Summers will be killed within 3 days if their unmentioned demands are not met. In this Al-Qaeda video, Summers made a last-minute desperate plea for his life.
I'm looking for any help that can get me out of this situation.
Last month, the Pentagon launched a daring and complex rescue mission in Yemen. But by the time the Navy SEALs arrived, Summers was gone. His captors had apparently moved him from a remote cave complex to another location. 8 non-American hostages were rescued. Was it an intelligence failure or a delayed presidential order which caused the missed opportunity to extract Luke Summers? The White House insists the president approved the rescue mission just 2 days after he received the Pentagon's plan. Meanwhile, in Syria, Kurdish Peshmerga troops are now in a fierce battle with Islamic State fighters as ISIS tries to retake the border town of Kobani. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says U.S. airstrikes have done little to stop ISIS in his country. And Pentagon officials now say ISIS has taken over parts of eastern Libya, claiming the territory as part of the Islamic State.
It's mainly about people coming for training and logistics support right now for training sites, and that's what we see right now. As far as a huge command and control network, have not seen that yet.
Perhaps several hundred ISIS fighters, but some reports suggest their numbers may be double that, mostly Libyans who have returned home after waging jihad in Syria. The group now controls the city of Derna in Libya, a city CBN News visited during the American and French-backed war against Muammar Gaddafi.
Of course, the people here in eastern Libya are elated to finally be free from Gaddafi, but they know their freedom comes with a cost, not only in war dead and wounded, but also they know there's a long struggle ahead to rebuild their government and their lives.
And 3.5 years later, some of those people in eastern Libya are now joining the Islamic State. Even so, while ISIS is making gains in Africa and the Middle East and getting most of the media headlines these days, U.S. security officials say the Al-Qaeda terror group in the Arabian Peninsula is still the greatest threat to the American homeland. Gary Lane, CBN News.
You need to get informed about why does Islam seem to spontaneously produce these kinds of radicals, and whether we're talking about this new group, the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, what's going on in Libya, but what also is going on in Nigeria with Boko Haram, or what's going on in Indonesia with the radical groups there. It seems that wherever there is Islam, there's the potential for this kind of radical behavior where they are literally following the words of Muhammad in what they're trying to do and how they're trying to execute infidels. If you want to know more information, we've got something for you. It's called Islam, Religion of Peace or War. It'll give you an inside view of what is it like and what do they think and how are they literally following the words of Muhammad. It's free. All you have to do is call us, 1-800-759-0700. We'll mail you out a copy of it, or you can get a download right now at cbn.com, or we'll even email it to you if you give us your email address. 1-800-759-0700. Well, here at home, protesters took to the streets last night in the case involving the police and the needless death of a black man in New York. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Gordon, the protests were held in New York and other cities across the country. They're demonstrating against a New York City grand jury's decision not to indict a police officer in the chokehold death of Eric Garner. Police accused him of selling illegal cigarettes. Last night, thousands of protesters marched from downtown Manhattan across the Brooklyn Bridge carrying replicas of coffins. And the daughter of Eric Garner spoke to Katie Kirk about her father's death.
It's still like why? You know, you seen him die on national TV just like everybody else. Why?
And on CNN, Erica Garner was asked if this was a racial issue.
I really doubt it. It was about the officer's pride. It was about my father being 6'4" and 350 pounds, and he wanted to be, you know, the top cop that brings this big band down because he's just big. I mean, my father wasn't even doing anything.
She said it wasn't, quote, a black and white issue, and she expressed appreciation for white people, Asians, and others from different nationalities for coming out to show they felt the same way she did about the video showing the police and her father. Obamacare premiums are going up. The administration acknowledged Thursday premiums for the most popular type of plan will rise an average of 5% in many states this year, and another 5% next year. Those who enrolled last year will automatically be re-enrolled in the same plan, but their premiums will likely be more expensive. The administration is encouraging people to shop and find newer, cheaper plans, but many people are worried that prices will just keep going up. Atheists have launched an anti-Christmas billboard campaign in the heart of the Bible Belt. The displays, sponsored by the group American Atheists, are located in residential areas and near schools and churches in Memphis, Nashville, St. Louis, and around Arkansas. They feature a young girl writing a letter to Santa saying, "All I want for Christmas is to skip church. I'm too old for fairy tales." Well, what do you get when you cross the Dead Sea Scrolls with today's digital age? An app in English that helps kids learn about the oldest written record of the Bible. Chris Mitchell brings us that story from Jerusalem.
They call it DigQuest, a new app that introduces kids to archaeology with unique games featuring Israel's ancient treasures. The app brings the Bible to life for young kids through archaeology and incorporates the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is the Conservation Lab at the Israel Antiquities Authority, and this is the original scroll 2,000 years ago from the book of Genesis. And it says in Genesis 1:1, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." And that's the first puzzle young users get to solve.
The kids are actually making a puzzle, 2,000-year-old fragments, some from the Bible, some sectarian. They were found in the Qumran caves in the 40s.
Orit Rosengarten of the Israel Antiquities Authority helped come up with the app.
We try and make an introduction for kids, connecting them to the subject, since we feel it's one of the most important discoveries of the 20th century.
It transforms iPhones or iPads into an archaeological tool, allowing players to get a feel of uncovering mysteries from the past.
You could be interested in archaeology, you could be interested in the Bible, Christian, Jewish.
Right now, 2 digs are based on real-life excavations, including the Dead Sea Scrolls found in Qumran.
The scrolls were found fragmentary, and the scholars have been working for years in order to put them together and try and read what's on it.
The app mimics real-life technology, such as spectral imaging, which brightens the script, making it easier to read. This process helped make the Dead Sea Scrolls available online.
So after you complete the puzzle, you could scan it and read the content much better. Whoever downloads the app gets a collection box, and he could add every item he completes into his collection box.
With the world speeding forward in the high-tech age, is archaeology still important? Rosengarten says yes.
It's our history. It's our legacy. It's our, if we don't learn from what we had, how do we progress today?
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the Israel Museum, Jerusalem.
Bringing the Bible back to life, much like Superbook. Gordon?
Well, it's interesting to try to make the Bible fun for children, and that looks like a lot of fun. And they might even learn Hebrew along the way.
Satanists will be able to put up a holiday display in Florida State Capitol this month. CBS Miami is reporting the display shows an angel falling into hell, and it has a banner on top that says Happy Holidays from the Satanic Temple. The display will appear among nativity scenes and secular presentations. Operation Blessing is tackling hunger in America, teaming up with the NFL's Washington Redskins and other organizations. Operation Blessing distributed food to thousands of families last week. The event was part of the annual Harvest Feast to provide hope and help to those in need this holiday season. NFL players and volunteers help hand out bags full of non-perishable goods, produce, and more to families. In the end, volunteers distributed 80,000 pounds of food to families and children in need. You can find out more about Operation Blessing by going to their website. It's ob.org.